Hey guys, Al here. Welcome to the channel. And if you are a guest here, as always, a special welcome. Now, we are talking Into the Badlands today. Listen, guys, while we're waiting, we might as well squeeze as much as we can out of this show while we are all waiting for the second half of the season to start. And a lot of you guys ask me when that actually is. I know it's January, you guys. I don't have an official date. I am assuming the AMC will let us know when we get closer. But until then, listen, we got a lot of stuff to dig into. So, guys, if you've not gone back, jump on Netflix, watch season 1 and 2, because I promise if you are all the way to season 3, episode 8, and you go back and watch some stuff, you're going to find out a lot more things that you didn't recognize. So here's what I want to do today. You guys, I want to talk about the most heart-wrenching or gripping deaths that we've had so far this season. And I'm going to tell you what mine is, and it might surprise you, it might not. But before we get into mine, listen, a couple that really got me, man. Like the death of Castor, that got me. When Pilgrim breaks his neck, I mean, it's just... you know why it's so sad? It's so sad because of all that he put into Pilgrim, all that he believed that Pilgrim was. And for Pilgrim to do something like that to him, I just think is really sad. I know a lot of you guys are really sad about what happened to Vale. You know, all of that Sonny went through to get back to his family, and then to have her go out like that, that was sad as well. Some people, man, some people are even sad about Quinn. And it is a little bit sad, right? Because Quinn is that person that you love to hate. And while I was happy to see him get it, at the same time, I was sad about the loss of him on the show, because it is really true. I mean, a lot of people say that Quinn is a scene stealer, and he is. When he's on there, you know, Daniel Wu actually used the term how he kind of just chops the scene up, or something like that Daniel said during our interview. And it's true, man. He really does steal the scene. But for me, the most heart-wrenching death that we've had so far has got to be the death of Ryder. So I want to get into that today, you guys, because I think that the death of Ryder, listen, says a lot of different things about kind of what's happening structurally in the Badlands when it comes to the dynamics of the family, and then when it just comes to the social dynamics as well. It tells you how much the nature of the Badlands can really influence the type of person that you are. So for me, Ryder's death was really hard. I mean, listen, how many guys, was it not hard when Quinn was just like, why did you hesitate? And then he says, man, with his last dying breaths, but you're my father. But you're my father. I was like, oh, man. Man, you're jerking on my heartstrings right now. And I will tell you why that was so rough for me, because one of the things that I think about Ryder that made it very difficult for him was Ryder was always trying to be something that he was not. And that's kind of how it is. Listen, if you're born into a household and your father or your parent is a baron, then you are inundated with the whole idea of chasing power. You are inundated, as Quinn would always tell Ryder, I raised you to take power, not to hesitate. And if you're born in that household, if you're part of that familiar structure, that's the expectation of you. You're going to be cutthroat. You're going to be someone that seeks after power. You're not going to hesitate. You take it. And the nature of the Badlands, especially if you want to hold the barony, if you want to be in that structure, requires that you have that mindset. The problem is that Ryder does not. And it's because it's just not who he was. It was not the type of person that he was. And you can see this all the way throughout the show. You can see how he tries to step up and be kind of that commanding figure, but nobody really respects him. When you think about the interactions that you see between Sonny, Quinn, and Ryder, who does Quinn always defer to? Sonny. Never really respects Ryder's opinion. I mean, really basically just puts Ryder out there in front of Sonny like, you're secondhand. I really don't respect what you have to say. I mean, you could feel Quinn's disgust for Ryder's disposition because Ryder was not the type of person that he had hoped that Ryder would be. I mean, what is it like, man, when your father tells you that I should have scraped you out of your mother's womb? I mean, what was it like for Ryder to hear something like that from his father? So for all his life, this dude has dealt with a dad or a father that pretty much has disparaged him and discouraged him, for that matter, his whole life. I mean, what is it like to live under something like that, where you feel like your dad is disappointed, where you feel like you can never really live up to who your dad wants you to be? So That's why that death is so sad for me, because of all that this guy had to go through, and then just a constant struggle, right, to be accepted, to feel like he was wanted, to feel like he was worthy in front of his dad, and to never get it, and then on top of that, to die by the hand of his dad. But it wasn't just Quinn that didn't respect Ryder. Nobody respected Ryder. Sonny didn't really respect Ryder. He tried to instill fear around the people or of the people that were around him, but nobody was really scared of Ryder. And it was because, on the whole, nobody respected him. Now, my belief, and listen, I want to know what you think about this, but my belief is the reason for that is that it is very hard for you to consistently portray an image that is not who you are. You know, always in some shape, form, or fashion, who we are on the inside comes out. And you see this all the time with Ryder. Always tried to step up. Always tried to like stick his chest out. But nobody was going for it. Nobody believed him. Nobody thought that's who he was. Interestingly enough, so you guys remember the scene when the widow goes into the tavern and she's rocking and rolling. She's taking out dudes left and right. And at that last scene, you guys know the scene where she like sticks the heel in the guy's neck. I was like, ooh, that was vicious. But what does she say? She says, who sent you, or who put you up to this? The guy answers, Ryder. What's her response? Her response is like, she's shocked. She says something like this. Somebody quote me in the comments if I'm wrong. But she says something like, Ryder, I didn't think he had the ingenuity. Nobody respects this dude. And Ryder really had one love in the show, and that's it. And that was, what's her name? It's not Lydia, it's not Vale. Somebody help me. Guys, help me. Who is it? And it's right there on the tip of my tongue. Sarah is her real name. I can't even remember her name. But the one love, I hope it comes back to me because it's just a little bit embarrassing, right? The one love really that Ryder had was Quinn's wife-to-be. And she really loved Ryder. She was placating Quinn, of course, to position herself to become that high on the echelon, or to become Baroness. I guess she would be Baroness. She and Lydia would both be Baroness. It's killing me that I cannot remember this lady's name. All right, anyway, I'm going to try to let it go. Somebody put in the comments what her name is because I can't remember. But that's really the only person that loved Ryder on this show. Nobody else really respected Ryder. I shouldn't say that. Ryder's mom did love him. But even Ryder's mom did not believe in him. She did not think that he could be what he needed to be Baron. Nobody did, except for the one person that loved him on the show. That's a hard existence, man. It's hard. And when you see that all the way, through the show, and then for him to come to his end like that, it's just really sad. Because this is a dude that never got what he wanted, and then finally to die at the hands of his dad, which was, for me, was just really gripping. But all the way through, nobody gave this dude any love. Everybody thought that they could set him up. You see the widow tried to play him by setting him up with the doll. It's just at every turn, nobody respected him, and he felt that lack of respect. So he finally gets this chance at redemption, right, for taking the credit for killing Quinn, which he did not do. You guys, of course, you guys know that. You're fans of the show, which he did not do. But notice this. Notice when Ryder becomes the Baron, how he kind of turns things around. He does not run the barony like his father did. He has much more of a softer or gentle touch. This is also due to what is her name? See, now it's driving. Okay, you guys, I'm sorry. I'm perseverating on it. Let me let it go. But he has much more of a softer touch because it is in line with who he is as a person. So he ran the barony with a little bit of a difference, a little bit of a softer hand. And honestly, I'm going to tell you, we do have the introduction of Quinn when he comes back and the barons are at the conclave, which was epic, by the way. When he turns that corner and he says, this is my Quinn impression. Thanks for keeping my seat warm, or something like that. Then he makes his whole comment about Ryder wearing his clothes and it's nothing sacred. That was epic. Did you see their face? Did you see his face? Everybody was like, oh, snap. But did you see his face? So you saw the fear in his face, and immediately he was in retreat mode. All that he thought that he built, all that he thought that he had done to get rid of, to cleanse himself of his father, was all reborn there. So all of that, man, when you look at the whole experience that he's had in the Badlands, it just makes you sad to see him go that way. And then to have him die by the hands of his father. Now, what I will say while I'm wrapping this up is this. But Quinn's interaction with Ryder right there towards the end, right there, right before he kills him, honestly, is a really fascinating thing to look at. Because while Quinn is as crazy as a June bug, and we know that some of that is due to the tumor, but even outside of the tumor, this guy was crazy. Like this guy's outlook on power was crazy. And here's how you know that. Because you remember when he and Sonny were riding out to Bale's parents' house, another really sad scene. That's another one too. Oh man, that scene was, whoo boy, I was mad at Quinn for that. But when they were riding out, and Quinn tells a story about how his father was beaten, how his father was just killed, like he was beaten to death, didn't fight back, just took it, they killed him. And then Quinn says, well, he went to his Baron and asked how could he become a Clipper, and I think he went in to another Baron's house and snapped the guy's neck before he knew what was happening. That gives you some kind of entree into this guy's mind. So he was a few snowflakes short of a blizzard before the brain tumor. So he already kind of had this vicious take power outlook, and he tried to instill that in his son, but he couldn't. It's because it's just not who his son was. So that really is the struggle for me. That's why that death, so far, who knows? I mean, there's some couple of folks, if we see some folks bite the dust in this season or seasons to come, you know, I'm going to be sad. I mean, I don't even have any tissues. Where are my tissues? Because, you know, I was really sad at Ryder's death and just the whole way that thing went down. But the words that he gave at the very, very end, to me, were just probably the most heartfelt. When Quinn gives him this opportunity, and here's where you see a little bit of Quinn's I don't even know, you guys. I don't even know if we would call it humanity, but you see a little bit of what's in Quinn come out when he offers Ryder the knife. I mean, Quinn wants so much for Ryder to be someone that takes power. He so desires for his son to be the person that he had hoped to raise him to be, that he's willing to give up his life for it. But even then, Ryder's not able to do it, and we all know what happened, right? Quinn reverses the knife, sticks it in Ryder, and that just goes to show you his insanity. But even while Ryder is really just kind of taking his last couple of breaths, and again, Quinn asks him, "Why did you hesitate?" And Ryder's response is so heart-wrenching there, and he just says, "It's because you're my father. Because you're my father." So it was really hard because despite all of that, he still had love for his dad. All of that rejection, all of that ridicule, all of that hardship, he still had love for his father, even till the end. And that makes, for me, the death of Ryder the saddest death that we have had so far of Into the Badlands. So thanks, guys. You know, I was thinking about this video. I'd seen something else that I'd read in the Facebook group. Oh, I'm going to talk about the Facebook group too, so don't go anywhere. I'd seen something else in the Facebook group that made me think about this. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do a video on this. And I'd actually had like a 40-minute conversation with someone, and we were just talking about the social dynamic of this show, because everybody talks about the martial arts dynamic, but the social dynamic, the story in this is part of what makes Into the Badlands so good. So when you combine that with the martial arts aspect, the world building, all the other stuff that goes into this show, it's easy for me to say it's the best show on TV, and definitely it deserves more attention than it's getting from AMC. So, all right, guys, I am done. Thank you so much. A couple of things I want to make sure that you do. There is a Facebook group. So if you are a fan of the show Into the Badlands, there's a Facebook group. It's a closed group. You guys, 8,000 plus and growing. Make sure that you go there and check that group out. There's a few questions I believe they still ask you when you want to join, but the community is amazing. So if you're looking for community around the show on Facebook, then make sure that you guys check that out. And I definitely will put that in the link in the description. If you are a fan, as I've said, and you've not subscribed, then make sure you hit that subscribe button here. One of the things that we want to do here on this platform on YouTube is really to partner with fans of the show and get some discussion going. We want to get into it on this platform, and you guys have been awesome. What's going on in the comments with a lot of the videos has been so much fun, and the different opinions and ideas that you guys share with your experience for the show that I didn't see is really cool to see. So I'm having a ball interacting with you guys there. Join the community. If you love this show, we are here and we are super fans of the show. Guys, remember to rock the hashtag Into the Badlands whenever you're talking about the show. That's more exposure for the show. Thank you so much. Please make sure that you subscribe. That little button should be popping up somewhere. It's a little circle. I think I'm leaning forward like this or something like that. And then there are some other videos on the right or the left that you should check out concerning the show. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.